Okay, so let's dive in. We're unpacking uh, letters and papers from prison. These are the writings of Dietrich Bonhoeffer, right? Composed while he was facing execution by the Nazis.
Exactly. And this isn't just, dry history.
Yeah.
It's raw. These are deeply personal reflections on life, on suffering, what freedom really means, and maybe most profoundly, finding God when everything, just everything, seems broken.
Yeah.
Our mission, really, is to get at the wisdom he found in that, in that darkness. Wisdom from a prison cell.
That context is just shattering, isn't it? So it makes you ask, I think, what does real courage, real faith actually look like when your whole world is collapsing?
The first big lesson, and it really underpins everything else, is Bonhoeffer's idea that true freedom is internal. It starts in the soul.
Okay.
He argues that even behind bars, literal physical bars, your spirit, your core self, that can't be imprisoned.
It's a powerful thought, but how does he ground that? I mean, it sounds good, but facing what he faced, how did he make that real for himself?
Right. It wasn't just wishful thinking. He saw freedom as liberation from yourself in a way. Freedom from the need for approval, from the fear of what others think.
Oh,
He actually wrote about being free from the opinions of men. Because he knew who he was, what he believed, that became his anchor. Something no external force, no jailer could actually touch.
So that internal bedrock is there first, but then you have the sheer brutality he was living through. And this is where, for me, it gets really fascinating, this link between faith and, well, intense suffering. His hope wasn't some abstract idea. It feels like it was forged right there in the darkness.
It absolutely was. He kind of moved beyond faith as just, a comfort blanket or a way to avoid problems.
Right.
For Bonhoeffer, faith wasn't about escaping pain. It was about finding meaning through it, even embracing the world's suffering in a sense. He challenged the idea of a church that stands apart. He wanted it to be in the world, living compassionately, actively, whatever the cost.
And that leads directly to action, doesn't it? That internal strength translates into outward choices. He connects having that moral clarity, not necessarily to big, grand gestures, but to, well, smaller things.
Precisely. That's key. For him, choosing love, choosing basic human decency when surrounded by absolute hate, that was the ultimate resistance.
Yeah.
And you see it in the letters. Amidst these profound theological thoughts, he's also asking for books, worrying out friends, offering small bits of encouragement. It's very human.
Grounded.
Very grounded. He found God not just in the spectacular or the religious rituals, but right there in the ordinary, in honesty, in kindness between people, simple compassion. That's what God's presence was for him.
Which brings us to this powerful synthesis about his life, right? Knowing his time was likely short. How did that change his view on the value of life itself?
Well, it seems he came to this profound conclusion. Purpose over duration. His life was cut tragically short, obviously, but the impact, it's immense. It lasts.
It seems he consciously chose principle over longevity. He could have perhaps compromised, lived longer, but he didn't. The value wasn't in the number of years, but in the why. The convictions you live and maybe die for.
It's quite a challenge he leaves us with.
Definitely. A short life lived with intense purpose.
Reading these letters, it really does feel like getting advice directly from a soul that just refused to be broken. It's this potent reminder that courage isn't, not being afraid. It's acting despite the fear.
Right.
And that faith sometimes means having the sheer guts to believe when nothing makes logical sense anymore.
And building on that, he leaves us with something really provocative to think about. He wrote famously, "Only the suffering God can help." So the question for you listening is maybe this. How does grappling with that idea and the reality of his suffering change how you define courage? What does it really demand?
A profound question indeed, something to really mull over. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into resilience, conviction, and the enduring freedom of the human spirit.